I don't know what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lucius Coal, the Sanity stream. Welcome back. If you like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. The Coal Factory and the Coal Train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong. Thanks to people like you watching content like this. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Orwellian nature of big tech, the overreaching oligarchy that has become the tech overlords of justice, ladies and gentlemen, are here once again to just brittle us. And let's just be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this is like a sanction on United States citizens not able to voice a free and fair political opposition to the rising power of communism and socialism in the United States of America. They're talking about ministries of truth. It is coming straight out of 1984, ladies and gentlemen. And if you think it gets any better, I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna get a lot worse. If you think your favorite creators and influencers haven't been impacted enough, YouTube actually going out there and stating, just so matter-of-factly, that they send only 20% of news coverage to lower tier, as in, you know, individual creators, people that don't want to fill your head with propaganda, people that want you to be able to make your own decisions of free thought in a free and fair country. You know, the use of the First Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, for some reason, it's this quite dangerous thing nowadays. Now, of course, I better just go out on a limb here and just say from the very get-go, I do not condone violence because, once again, just for you who don't know, I was struck by YouTube for supporting criminal organizations, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, going out there waving American flags and telling to keep senators and House members responsible to their constituents is some form of terrorism, ladies and gentlemen. But be that as it may, let's take a look. If things are going to get better, it's going to get a lot worse with a dark winter, ladies and gentlemen, according to Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell themselves.
We have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN, and they are extremely radical and pushing extremely radical views. And so it's up to the Facebooks and YouTubes in particular to think about whether or not they want to be effectively cable networks for disinformation. And then we're going to have to figure out the OANN and Newsmax problem. You know, that these companies have freedom of speech, but I'm not sure.
These companies have freedom of speech, but. These companies have freedom of speech, but. No, these companies have freedom of speech, period. There is no but. This is America. We need an internet bill of rights. And honestly, I was thinking about it the other day. What would be a way where we're not actually petitioning the federal government, but maybe going a bit more local? If not county by county, at least by state if we're going on a grander scale. And what I mean by that is actually creating an internet bill of rights. Wherever you're from, especially if you're from a red state, maybe you can contact your representative and say, hey, I would be open to the idea of creating an internet bill of rights, meaning that if these social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube actually want to be able to go into places like Florida, where I'm in, for example, maybe another good state that could go out there on a limb is people like Texas, maybe Georgia, Louisiana. You know, at the end of the day, I think we all know it's going to be coming from a red state because people that happen to be on the right side of the aisle are the ones who are actually getting censored here. But again, this could be something that would actually keep these big tech media platforms and actually bring them into heel. Because, hey, if you don't support free speech, if you do not allow people to exercise their First Amendment rights, and that's the thing too, it's like, it's illegal to say you're going to go after somebody and do X to them. And obviously I have to use coded language here because we're on YouTube and you're not able to actually freely express yourself. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. But again, there are already rules on the books that you can't threaten someone's life. Like you can't say fire while you're inside a movie theater. You can't go there and say bomb while you're on an airplane, right? These types of things are already illegal. You saying that you're going to do a terroristic act is already illegal. And yet these big media companies are widening the lens more and more about what they deem acceptable speech. This is despotism. That's what this is. This is creating rules on the fly, going against all conventional wisdom from articles such as the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, as well as the Bill of Rights, and simply just willy-nilly on a limb just saying, hey, these are the rules. And then sometimes they'll enforce rules that aren't even actual rules. I mean, I bring this up over and over again, but Facebook banned the Walk Away campaign. Walk away. That's right. The grandmas, the cookie makers, you know, your good old Graham, right? Who says, you know what? I don't want to be on the left anymore. I want to be on the right. And now, of course, that's some sort of hate speech, some sort of incitement to violence. It's absolutely insane to me. And it's not going to get any better, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know, this is an amazing little picture that I came across. This is what America is right now. We are moving closer and closer towards a police state. Somehow this is the most free and fair election in the history of men, ladies and gentlemen. And yet, this is what we're looking at the Capitol. We're looking at National Guard soldiers, over 25,000 plus National Guard brought in for Biden and Harris's inauguration. It is absolute insanity. Does this look like America to you? Or does this look like something that maybe Kim Jong-un would do? Does this look like something that some, you know, tyrant leader over in the Middle East would do? Does this look like a free and fair republic where people are able to express themselves? Absolutely not. And if you think I'm just being hyperbolic, ladies and gentlemen, for some reason, call me crazy, you know, the left always says they're not truly into walls, ladies and gentlemen. Walls are racist, wanting to make sure that American citizens are actually protected and have a border wall and are able to actually, I don't know, have a job, work up in that job, you know, have a higher level of pay, a higher level of responsibility, and be able to actually provide for your family instead of actually having your jobs taken away from you from people who aren't even American citizens. No, ladies and gentlemen, that's racist. But again, walls are only good when it's rules for thee, but not for me. And you're going to start to see this over and over and over, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, as we all know, the absolute insanity that has come from January 6th. And we have to get to a point, ladies and gentlemen, where, I mean, just saying hypocrisy isn't going to change anything. It's not going to change a lick. At the end of the day, we're going to have to be the ones to create the system in order to destroy the current system. And what I mean by that is that means going out there and actually moving towards alternatives. It's really odd to see all of these people saying violence will not be tolerated after an entire year of gaslighting the public into thinking that riots, arson, murder, destruction, $2+ billion of damage is somehow a peaceful protest. And yet, after 2 broken windows, a broken bookshelf, poop on the floor, and some dirt, and a Axe body spray left on the floor, that somehow is now akin to the massive amounts of damage that actually happened across the United States. At the end of the day, these oligarchs, these elites, if you will, are only mad because it was them who was affected. When it was the small man, the small business owner in Kenosha, they didn't care. When it was the small business owner in Minneapolis, they didn't care. When it was a 30-year plus veteran of the police who was killed, nobody cares. When it's a little girl in Georgia that was shot in her car, no one cares. They only care because it happened to them. And this is where we really have to start branching out, ladies and gentlemen. There is anger rising on both sides of the aisle. And we need to start reaching our hand across to the people that are sane. These people can't call themselves liberals anymore. They're not liberal. They're far from liberal. They're trying to take people down from their banks, their insurance. Multimedia is on an absolute killing spree. You see what's going on with the Federal Reserve printing out of control, the military-industrial complex continuing to help countries like Saudi Arabia creating the Yemeni crisis, which is the worst crisis in probably the last 20 years. And that's including things like Syria and Libya, which were absolute catastrophes as well. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into a very dark time. A very, very dark time. And apparently this is what a free and fair nation looks like, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like this. Nothing says democracy like requiring 20,000 soldiers to install a new regime. Funny thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it's not 20,000. And you're probably thinking, you know what? It's probably less. You know what? This is blown out of proportion. The people on the right, they're just being hyperbolic. There's nothing real about this. 20,000 soldiers for a free and fair election. 20,000? 20,000 soldiers? That's insane. No. We were wrong. We were wrong, guys. It's not 20,000. It's 25,000. It's 25,000 plus. For the freest and fairest election in the history of man, it's 25,000 soldiers to install the new regime. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to kind of keep you in the know. For those of you who don't know, we have the FBI, the CIA, the NSA. Basically, they're called glowies. And glowies meaning that they're so bad at their job, which is basically infiltrating groups, whether that be Trump supporters or Proud Boys or Patriots or militias or whatever. They're so bad at their jobs that they glow, right? And their entire purpose is to get into our said groups and actually try to get us to commit acts of violence, right? And this apparently is, exactly what's going on the Donald right now. For those of you who are from the Donald, we have the FBI going in, right? Saying, do the violent protest, right? Trying to make it seem as if we are the ones that are perpetuating violence. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said before, hope for the best, expect the worst. I keep saying it over and over and over again. If you're not going to the gym, go and lift some weights, guys. Get in shape. Make sure that you're ready for whatever happens. I'm not saying that I want anything to happen, but you should be able to protect you and your family, and you should be in good, strong health. Make sure to watch your diet. Make sure you have plenty of food on hand if anything was to actually go down. I don't actually think anything is coming in the works. But again, we already know that Patriot Act, quote unquote Patriot Act, the most unpatriotic act in the history of man, is coming down the line, which could mean possible gun grabs. It could mean an even more tyrannical surveillance state. You see what happens when the military industrial complex actually goes overseas and destroys these nations. Absolutely destroys these people and their way of life and their culture, killing women and children by the droves, by the hundreds of thousands. You see Yemen right now, and us backing literal countries that help fund Al-Qaeda, the same Al-Qaeda that threw 2 airplanes into the Twin Towers, killing thousands of Americans. And nobody seems to care. So just keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. And I thought I would just kind of make this a bit of a new thing, so to speak, in terms of what's going on with this particular podcast. I want to make sure that you are financially ready for what's coming down the pipeline. For those of you who don't know, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but maybe you should take a look into something like Bitcoin. And ironically, in the very last podcast, I said, hey, you know what? Just wait until a group like Goldman Sachs gets into Bitcoin. I said it. It's like, oh man, I hate to toot my own horn, ladies and gentlemen, but I really do feel like I have a pulse on what's going on here in the United States. Take a look. Goldman Sachs explores entering crypto market, CoinDesk reports. Goldman Sachs Incorporated is looking into investing in digital assets, the latest move by the U.S. bank to enter the world of cryptocurrency. Website CoinDesk reported. The New York-based bank issued a request for information to at least one crypto custody player at the end of 2020. According to the portal, which cited an unidentified person, Goldman's initiative was part of a broad digital strategy, CoinDesk said. Representatives for Goldman Sachs didn't immediately respond for messaging seeking comment during the event. The possible entrance by Goldman would be the latest in the broader trend to bring digital currency into U.S. banking. Earlier this month, Anchorage Digital Bank became the first cryptocurrency firm to win a charter from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the future. You see the way the big banks are printing out of control. Joe Biden has said that he's going to pump about $1,400 more into each American citizen. So at some point, inflation is going to kick in. And it's very, very clear that people aren't really going to be able to bank anymore. I mean, on the right side of the aisle, they're talking about going out there and making sure that people on the right with the wrong think or the wrong opinions aren't able to actually use these services. I mean, look at what happened to Alex Jones. They made it so he couldn't bank. They made it so that he couldn't basically use the internet. They unpersoned the entire man. And no matter what you think of him, this was the playbook for what was going to happen to a broad-based amount of conservatives and libertarians on the right side of the aisle. And this is why we must get together with, I hate to say it, but we must get together with people who are progressive. Yes, actual progressives. And the reason why I say that, and I use Jimmy Dore for a great example, these people still believe in free speech. Of course, they're pushing things like Medicare for all, while we probably, most of us believe that, hey, we should remove all regulatory insurance in terms of state lines and stuff like that, so the market's able to actually function in the best way possible. The most amount of competition is ultimately going to win out. But we have to find allies where we can find them. And we have to have people from the left side of the aisle that are going to speak up for us. Unfortunately, the right has been behind on basically every issue, whether it be culture, whether it be education, whether it be the tech sphere, whether it be banking, whether it be insurance. And it's ironic because we're supposed to be the people that are the entrepreneurs. We're supposed to be the hard workers. We're supposed to be the ones that, we don't complain. We don't ask for big government to come and help us out. No, we take our own fate into our own hands and we form our own destiny. And it's time that we start coming together because this big state overreach is going to affect everyone. And it's ironic because these quote unquote liberals who don't even understand the broader context of things. It's really scary the amount of mind control that we're dealing with in this current political climate. Cheering on the president of the United States being banned from these social media platforms and not seeing the broader context that the very moment that you stray away from the corporate neolib and neocon and what their thinking is in terms of fleecing you of your money, your livelihood, your land, the moment that happens, you are then the enemy. And people will have been going along with this for so long on the left that they'll just start to eat their own. So it's time we come together. It's time to start moving to alt tech. It's time to start investing in different places where our money can't be touched. For those of you who want to support the channel, you can go down below. There's a Bitcoin link. You can feel free to donate. We're looking to grow this channel out and make it a much improved working in progress. Next thing we're working towards on this political channel, rather, is an additional screen so that I'm able to actually stream on one side and then able to view chat on the other, and everything will just be a lot more, a lot easier to do. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, enough about me. Go out there, lift some weights, get yoked, shoot some guns, get some food, protect your family, and make sure you are able to hold control of your assets, because things are going to get better things are going to get worse before they get better. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this type of content, my name is Lucius Coal. Go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. The Coal Factory and the Coal Train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong. Thanks to people like you watching content like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Peace. Coal Train. Choo-choo! Yeah. Let's get it, boys.